Good morning or good day. We're going to do a little random fun video with some random bits of information. Fun little kind of grounding or just kind of situational awareness from where I'm at. They started this sewage construction project in late January, and I was very upset about it because at the time they put a machine outside of my house and I couldn't sleep. It was running 24 hours and they never gave any notice of this machine being outside my. Either way, they said it was only going to take 45 days and it's going like well past. It's going to go up on 60 now. So there's that. So I'm sorry if there's construction, if you can hear the construction going on outside still. Another fun fact is yesterday, I was kind of forced into, I had no choice to be confirmed through the Catholic faith when I was a child, my formative years, where you just get indoctrinated with the story of baby Jesus, or I don't know, for the Jews, I'm sure it's something else, I guess. And this week Passover is like a Jewish thing, but yesterday was Palm Sunday, and even though I'm not really Catholic anymore, I still honor and respect the cycles of the earth. And we're coming up on equinox, or I don't know if it already happened, but either way, Passover or Palm Sunday was yesterday, and then Easter is going to be this next Sunday, representing the birth or the death and the rising of the Christ consciousness. And there's going to be quite a few events that are going to be taking place with that. And I learned that this year. So I believe that Christ, or whatever, that kind of concept is more of like an earth cycle thing, and it's a consciousness, and it represents the renewal of consciousness and within our own stories and lives, and even just on an alchemical physical process. And I talked about in one of my pinned videos that, at least for me, for this moment and point in time, the majority of society and people are functioning on a 12-month calendar or timekeeping year. And it's just, it's not mathematically correct. It's not fact. It's not provable. We actually function in a 13 cycle year. What are you doing, bud? That's why I have the palm. I actually have a palm tree outside, or like palms outside of my house. So I thought, well, why not? Why not be festive? And he's gonna get it. Say hello. Boop, 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 boop. Binky bink. We're gonna go for a walk later. If you take and that's been taken away. They took the feminine energy out of just any sort of concept. And you can date back in history when they did this specifically, because they just did not understand feminine wisdom or energy, and they wanted people without power, usually the guys, unfortunately. People without power want power, so they result to the most shittiest thing, which is do things by force and manipulation, and manipulate the history books and the ways that consciousness is naturally contrived or expressed on the planet, which is 13 months in a year. if you add up the weeks and stuff and the moon cycle, in accordance with within the solar cycle, it's 13 months. And even you can look at September, October, November. September is apparently the 9th month, but September, if the linguistics of the word, the etymology of the word, sept means 7, oct means 10, November means 9, dec means, or maybe dec was 10, oct is 8. Yeah, that's what I meant. November, yeah, it's not correct. So that's quite the consciousness shift that's, at least I'm observing or witnessing. And then also, I forget his name. Oh, Robert Grant. And there are some other military members. I was listening to just a clip of a podcast where apparently back in the 60s or 70s or whatever, around at this point in time in the year 2026 for this Easter, they ran it through their computer systems that apparently where the Sphinx is going to be in Egypt, the Venus is going to be like appear red in the sky, and it's going to line up in a specific way with the Sphinx. And at that point in time, it's going to signify a consciousness shift within humanity and supposedly the return of Christ. And then he goes into like why the SpaceX or why the Space Force symbol has a rising mummy or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, so you guys needed to run it through your mathematical computer machines to realize to like, oh, that's when it's finally going to shift. No. I mean, I'm sure that's going to happen, but there's been times where it's like it happens continuously. But people need this dramatic like event to be like, yeah, now we can do it. Now we like, it's just fucking a sign of the times. But I took that into a little bit further concept because there is the Hopi prophecy of the red star Kachina and the blue star Kachina, which in prophecy it signifies the red star and the blue star and the two paths. And I took that on a very deeper psychological level in regards to, and I'm wearing blue and red. It's funny, and yeah, blue and red pen. I usually have everything that I need right in front of me when I want to teach or do videos like this. But blood is one of the only life forces that it actually signifies it can be two colors, not at once, but it can, when it moves through the vessel, the body, when it's when it's living and in your veins, it's in your body, it's blue. And it's because it hasn't oxidized yet, so when it comes out of the body, it turns red. So I thought that was also quite fascinating. And then I kind of was like, oh, maybe that's like also kind of taking place, that deeper aspect is taking place on a more planetary global level, on an alchemical process where there's maybe this, maybe not oxidization, but the way that light hits certain things, it will activate other scenarios. And, that on such a macrocosmic level and then to a microcosmic level, I can see how that can play out. But I'll leave it on this really cool little thing. I was just kind of, sometimes I let my mind kind of I do like a little just creative exercise. And I was wondering I was like, wow, just this piece of paper. I was like, this piece of paper is a tool of the Matrix because somebody had to design it. It had to get printed through a company. And I'm like, I'm not the paper, but I can use it. But I was wondering, I was like, okay, there's lines on the paper. That's obviously for writing, but what is this red line? What is this red line for? And I thought I used my creative part of my brain because like the other day I was writing and I'd rather use it like this because I was like, oh, this could be like a harmonic kind of note, like notes, paperwork. So I did some research on what this line was, and it surprisingly, like, this is the weirdest thing. It originated in the the late 1800s, early 1900s, where they put the red line on there because where they stored paper, it would have rats and rodents and stuff, and it would eat at the edges. So if you wrote or wrote past that line, your text or your script wouldn't be like potentially get chewed up by the rodents, even though it's just like, okay, well, why don't you just store it in a better place? But and then later on down the line, it became just kind of like a measurement from like where to make it look more formatable and stuff like that. But it like legit originated because of rodents. I thought that was really, really fascinating. It's usually like 1.25 inches or like 1 inch from the page. But yeah, interesting things. So hope you have a good day or week. And yeah, it's going to be pretty wild. I have some significant energies that I'm observing and witnessing right now, and I'm like, okay, when are they gonna pop? Because I've set my boundaries, I'm holding my boundaries, and I just, some of these toxic people and energy, I'm just like, wow, you really want to be like that? You want to just rot and then also try and make other people the problem, even though you just refuse to look at yourself in your shitty fucking ways. So that's what I'm dealing with, but peace out till we meet again.